I was actually talking this entire time, but I forgot that I had the mic on mute, LMAO. I was like, why the fuck is chat complaining so much about the no talking thing? It was like, nah, just mute was on, LMAO. This is what happens when I play D&D, because I have D&D sessions on Friday. And I usually have it on mute on default so I can, fart and stuff. So yeah, I've been answering all of you guys' questions in chat. And I was like, why the fuck does people keep on complaining about me not talking? And I was like, oh wait, it's because the mic is muted, LMAO. How was your D&D session? Yeah, we finally got a D&D session Friday night, once in a while. I'm enjoying playing a barbarous, murderous minotaur. With a huge dong. Yeah, it's a little too awkward if I just start actively raping goblin corpses and stuff in the second session of the campaign, so I've been holding it back a little, but we'll get to that point. Where it's just like, and then the Minotaur fucks the goblin corpse's exposed chest cavity with his huge cow cock. Constitution saving throw to resist disease. I thought you were a dumb warlock. The DM got tired of the campaign he was doing, so we made new characters so he could start a different campaign. So we're back at level 1 or something. Level 2 now. I'm playing a barbarian minotaur, and I'm gonna go Path of the Beast, so he has natural weapons, and I'm literally gonna eat the faces of enemies. This is supposed to be a lawful good campaign, by the way. How much rape is there going to be? I try and not do any rape role-playing in my D&D sessions. I leave that for my creative endeavors on my own when I become a doujin author. Do you guys remember the manga Musho and Roji's magic law firm, or whatever the fuck the translation would be? It was a relatively successful Shonen Jump manga series back when I was in, I don't know, high school or so. So that would have been like, what, 2005? I'm saying this because the author is a doujin author now. He's like, I lost all of my money, but now I draw porn, and it's all okay. And he just straight up uses the same pen name because he's a fucking Giga Chad. Musho and Roji's Bureau of Supernatural Investigation. If you go on eHentai right now and use the exact same name of the author of the Jump comic, he's drawing porn. The author of Yakitate Japan literally drew NTR comics of the female character of Yakitate Japan. Those are the only like true normal names that went from, or big, I wouldn't say call them big names, but names that went from being a serialized mangaka in a safe for work setting that went to porn afterwards. There's a lot more authors that go in the opposite direction, that go from porn to safe for work stuff because it pays more. The guys who draw porn of their own characters are enlightened. Oh, there's also the author of Bastard, who instead of properly finishing his fucking manga, instead drew several doujins, and that's about it. I don't know if Jump is safe for work. No real manga is safe for work. I mean, you're not supposed to be reading manga during work. The whole safe for work terminology is incorrect. He mostly won more money now than with Jump. Maybe, maybe not. It depends how properly you're paying taxes. He said that he lost all of his money. He only has $1,000 in his bank account, and then he started drawing porn, and now he's back to the point where he has enough money to buy a house or something like that. So, but if you have like a solid 15 or 20 volumes of Jump and you get a fucking anime, that should be enough to not go bankrupt or whatever the fuck happened with him. So he probably was like either gambling or wasting his money or something like that. Jump comic sales are no fucking joke, so who cares about stuff being safe for work when you don't have a job? Am I right, fellow NEETs? True, my entire existence is not safe for work. I'm drawing this right now with my cock and balls exposed, with a raging erection. Gamba, maybe investing in on other economic bubble, what, like NFTs and crypto. Be like Boogie. Just be like, I have more money than I can ever spend unless I just waste it all on fucking crypto because I'm an idiot. People who have like a shit ton of money and instead of going into like defense mode and just instead trying to like increase it by dumping it into high risk endeavors are fucking stupid. You've basically already maxed out the amount of joy you can get from life based on money once your savings get above, like, I don't know, 500,000 or something. Unless you have extremely expensive hobbies. So any attempt to do it like high risk endeavors, like, I don't know, buying a shit ton of shit coins is just really dumb business. The author of Kanojo mo Kanojo went into debt buying watches, LOL. I mean, watches are no joke. It's fucking jewelry for men. Even if you're a successful published mangaka, there's like no limit on the number of watches you can buy And considering each one goes for like 100,000, because everybody is like, oh, the price of Rolexes just keeps on going up. This is a great investment. And then like everybody starts buying fucking Rolexes. So now it all is overpriced. Feels good, man. I feel like you just need one Rolex, but it's just me. Some people buy expensive items or are like, this is an investment for my future, and sometimes it actually is. Comic guys have it good. They get to be syndicated into multiple magazines, unlike mangaka. The reason why Jim Davis is giga rich is because Garfield is like selling plushies and shit. There's plenty of syndicated comics, in which they don't sell the million Garfield dolls and thus don't make enough money. Also, unlike manga, comics are a dying medium, so I wouldn't be too excited about it. They can't keep up production in Switzerland. Alright, guys, let's decide which Rolex I want to buy. Which Rolex should I buy, guys? Rolex watches. Best deals. Wow, 75% off during watches on our spring. Oh man, it must be so affordable. Pre-owned and used Rolex watches. They're trying to get you to sell shit. Oh, I can buy a extremely affordable Rolex Men's Oyster Perpetual GMT Master for a cheap $10,900. They're also selling Rolex Datejust Men's 36mm for $139 at SwissReplica.is. Feels good, man. Supporting the Chinese knockoff industry. Submariner with Pepsi bezel. At any moment, the discussion of whether they can tell the time accurately has ever been brought up. Why do you think you have a phone? Watches are just jewelry. If you don't want to wear jewelry like a woman, then you're not ready for the watch economy. Can't casually spend 10K on a watch. What a poor pleb. I'm pretty sure prices are kind of inflated right now as well. So there probably was a point where you were actually making money if you bought a Rolex and just resold it at a later date. However, this is no longer the case, I am sure. Watchmakers must have fucking hated modern phones. Why would they? They're selling more watches now than they were before phones came out. Watches have nothing to do with telling time. They exist entirely as a symbol of wealth. Phones were kind of the AI of the watch industry. I mean, if you want to see somebody who is truly stupid with their money, it's not somebody who has a Rolex, it's somebody who has a fucking Apple Watch. That's when you know this person is a dog shit idiot with their money. On YouTube, I watch a show where they kind of go through people's finances, personal finance show, to see if people are making poor decisions with their life and why are they, hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt. And every single one of the people who waste their fucking money, they have a fucking Apple Watch. I guess it's not an iWatch, it's an Apple Watch. It's like, oh, I need this $2,000 toy so I can check my heart rate, guys. Fucking dumbasses. I do, but it was a presento. I don't want to wear anything on my body, period. If someone gives me a watch, I'm going to be like, oh, thanks, and it's going to just be sitting in the fucking drawer. It really is pretty useless. I mean, as long as you're just like mandated to carry your phone around at all times, what's the point of having a slightly smaller phone unless you think it looks cool, which is probably what all of these people are thinking. Some watches cost more than my entire bloodline earnings. Well, that's the joy of luxury items, because they exist entirely as just a symbol of wealth. There really isn't any kind of reasoning on how expensive shit needs to be or should be. Because if anything, the maker's like, oh, that's too cheap. We need to make it more expensive. We'll just tack a few more jewels on it just to make it, more of a luxury item. Because the whole point is keeping out plebs from your exclusive club of having an extremely expensive watch. So the $100,000 price tag is a feature, not a bug. Subscribing to BaalBud Patreon is the working man's luxury. It really is, including the part where half of those $5 you give me is going to Jeff Bezos. It's like you're paying taxes IRL. Oh boy, I'm supporting my favorite streamer. Sort of, but you're also supporting Mr. Bezos buy another fucking yacht. Feels good, man. Patreon cut is like 2 to 8%, right? Yeah, whatever it is, it's significantly less than whatever Mr. Bezos is taking. Oh no. Mr. Bezos, no, please. I didn't mean it that way. Please don't send your death squad. 'Tis was only in jest. I would never say anything bad about Amazon, Mr. Bezos. Is your tax lady hella hot and has glasses? Shit, I forgot I have to do taxes. I didn't forget. I'm just conveniently ignoring. I'm ignoring the fact that the taxes need to be done. Pain in the ass. We need to keep Twitch profitable, otherwise they might pull the plug on it, so remember that when you complain about the 50% cut. Don't care. If Twitch goes under, that's fine. Fuck off, Bezos. I don't care if that shit is profitable or not. If you pull the plug, I'll go somewhere else. I'll go watch YouTube, which is what you're afraid of, which is why you can't actually pull the plug. I won't fall for that fucking bait. This is when, like, sports owners are like, oh no, guys, public taxpayer money has to fund the price of our new stadium, guys. I'm just a billionaire. I can't possibly fund renovations and build a new stadium. Let's make sure that local people have to pay for taxes, or else I might be moving the team to Vegas. You don't want to move your snooker ball team, right? You love snooker ball. And up until now, people are like, oh, you're right, Mr. Billionaire-san. It would be horrible if we lost our team. But now, finally, people are like, no, fuck off. which is what they should do. Also, it's almost always the most dog shit team owners that try and pull that shit. They're like, hey guys, oh, you don't want to lose the Oakland A's, right? This team that has given you so much joy and so many World Series wins throughout your lifetime. It's like, oh, fuck off. None of these, like, new age tech companies that are operating at a loss based on the assumption that they're going to have to start making a profit at some point in their lifespan have actually pulled the plug, besides shit like Mixer and stuff. So I guess it's not everything, but like Netflix probably hasn't been profitable for a while. Maybe it's profitable now, but if you're in the ahead position, unless you're like losing so egregiously, all the billionaires are going to keep their shit in the game because they want to just have that monopoly position so badly. The juicy future in which they're the sole operator in the market is too juicy, so they're not just going to bail out. I mean, I'm guessing that Xbox has lost money throughout its lifespan, and Microsoft still won't pull the plug on it because it's profitable enough. Shame that your art will most likely get canceled on YouTube. I mean, I'm not gonna fucking live stream on YouTube. Also, I don't care if I get canceled. I mean, aren't there like YouTube Minecraft streamers that say horrible shit on YouTube and get away with it because YouTube doesn't properly censor it? Or does that not happen? I don't care. Guys, I've said this already, but I don't fucking care about streaming. Streaming is not my job. You guys barely give me any kind of money. You are a tiny part of my entire art income. Most people are like, oh my god, you stream? That's crazy. I didn't know that. It's like, yeah, there's my streaming career. We're nothing to him? You kind of are. Please make YouTube tutorials about that one trick that makes art easy. Yeah. I don't even have to expose my face. There's YouTube art tutorial people that just show their hands. YouTube art tutorials are so obviously catered to like the 12-year-old who's like, I fucking love anime. It's actually kind of sad. It's not as bad as the YouTube tutorials catered to losers who are like, oh, I'm gonna make a lot of money from drop shipping, but it's kind of similar. Drop shippers will never make money, so at least learning to draw manga or something is slightly more realistic than becoming a professional drop shipper, but it's still not much better, considering that 99% of the people who are watching those tutorials aren't going to make it even to like acceptable art level. So I mean, fucking Zoomer kids can't even concentrate on watching an anime show without having two other streams in the background. You think they're going to be able to concentrate on drawing shit for the next 20 years? Yeah, good luck on that. Be careful, ball. Hand coomers will jack it to your hands if you do drawing tutorials. Well, I don't even draw analog, so there's really no point in showing my hands. Everything's digital anyways, so who cares? I mean, how does anyone actually believe that drop shipping is a viable business? The entire point of drop shipping is like you're a retailer except you don't actually have any inventory. So the entire skill is getting people to buy shit from you at a marked up price instead of going to the original source and buying it directly. Except it's not like you have a convenient retail store that people are going to buy from instead of the warehouse. The warehouse is online and it's on Amazon. Like, I actually had to ask chat during one stream episode on how drop shipping worked, and it was like, oh my god, this is such a scam. I can't believe people actually believe that they're going to make money off of this. A lot of people are scared to admit the reason why they don't watch subbed anime or foreign media is because they struggle to read. Feels good, man. American illiteracy. Show balls. The new scam is to sell courses on dropshipping. That's not the new scam. That was always the scam. The actual scam has always been tutorials to scammers about a get-rich-quick scheme. But the person who's making money is the person who's selling the course, not the person who's actually doing the get-rich-quick scheme. Because there actually are no get-rich-quick schemes. You either have to have a shit ton of capital or be taking huge risks. I guess capital is also a risk in some way to get rich quick. And the people who fall for those get rich quick schemes are already poor, which is why they fall for them. So they don't have anything that they can risk. The best get rich quick scheme would be to like literally sell your kidney. The worst part of being a weeaboo is realizing you're not actually learning Japanese watching anime. そんなことないよ、ジョンソン君。私の言ってることわかるよね。バカバカ、なんでそんなこと言うの? I bet there's like half of the people in chat actually understand what I'm saying because they don't actually know Japanese, but they know anime speak Japanese. They've heard the same anime more phrases enough times that they're like, this is just like that scene in Infinite Stratos. I understood. Kya, skibbe? Echi, nande pants miru no? Baka baka. Hentai nan dakara. The anime I'm watching right now is Karakuri Circus for the second time. If you guys have Amazon Prime in the United States, you can watch Karakuri Circus. And I think not everybody has watched it, so I'm going to recommend it now. Fujita Kazuhiro is one of my favorite mangaka, and I currently have pirated images of his manga up on my computer because I'm using it as a guide for how dark my lines should be for image balance. Haven't watched anime in years. Most people grow out of anime as they get older because they become weak and can't handle the cringe anymore. Pirated? Did I say pirated? I meant legally bought. I would never pirate anything. That was a joke. Piracy is wrong, guys. If you consume any of my content besides paying me for it, then you're literally committing a crime. Everybody who dubs my shit on YouTube without my approval is literally committing a crime. I'm gonna send them cease and desist and DMCA orders right now. Get fucked, dubbers. Why are German words popular in manga now? Because manga authors are massive weeb chunibyo cringe lords who think that German is cool. That's why. And it's always been popular, yes. I'm paying you an exposure right now, though. You ain't exposing shit, bro. This economy is all Biden's fault, and the next guy too, and the next one too. LMAO. No, I mean, that's not how it goes. In America, it goes, this economy is the fault of current president for a party that I do not like. And then as soon as the parties flip, you're like, oh my god, the economy is so good. Wow, I'm doing so great. Americans literally have become so tribalistic about this stupid fucking political views that they can't even make up their mind on whether they're doing good or not. So if you ask them in a poll if they're doing well, or it's more like if America is doing poorly, if you ask them in a poll on an individual level, they'll be like, yes, my situation has vastly improved in the last 4 years. And then if you ask them, how is America doing? They'll be like, oh my god, Biden! Everything's going to hell because Biden is president. Oh, but not me. And obviously the opposite fucking happens for liberals as well. They're like, oh my god, I'm doing okay, but Trump. So. Why is everyone talking about Imperial Japan right now? The Japanese had quite a lot of German loanwords. Not that much. Most of Japanese words are like Dutch and shit. German doesn't actually mix that well with Japanese, which is why it still sounds like a cool foreign word. Most Japanese katakana words are like Dutch or Netherlands. Because they were, if it's like old stuff like bread is pan, which is like, I'm pretty sure is Dutch. They don't say bureddo. Dutch is clown English. Pan is Spanish. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of, pan is bread in a lot of languages like Italian and stuff. Most of the European languages are pretty similar to each other because, you know, they were all fucking each other's cousins and stuff, so it's all very ancestral inbreeding shit. Pan is Portuguese. Yeah, Portuguese also. It was the Dutch and I think Portuguese who were allowed to into the Japanese trading economy. I can't remember. I actually have to look it up. Japan Dejima. Yeah, it's Portuguese and subsequently the Dutch. Started with Portuguese. Those were the two nations that agreed to not try and turn Japan into like a fucking Christian colony, so. The Japanese were disappointed in the 1800s when they realized the Netherlands didn't matter. The Netherlands actually mattered quite a bit for most of the period in which they were trading with Japan. They did plenty of bullshit Western colonialism themselves, despite being a tiny fucking country. Didn't the Dutch have like a massive trading empire for a huge part of European history? I'm pretty sure they were a big deal. Then we fucking destroyed them, but yeah. It's more important that we make fun of the Dutch right now, though. Let's open a big hole in their dike so they're flooded. LMAO, imagine living below sea level. Get fucked. The tulip stock crashed. Apparently the whole tulip economy thing was more of a meme than it was actual stuff, but thanks to NFTs, now everybody is thinking about the tulip economy nowadays. Dutch East India Company, that's right. I forgot that East India Company was the Dutch. Feels good, man. Enslave everybody. Spread suffering around the globe. Lots of holes get opened up in dikes with tools. Are you saying that if I poke a hole in a dike, the ocean doesn't immediately start pouring in and just flood the entire country? Because that would be fucking awesome, though. Why are we not letting that happen? 3 kinds of European: coastal homosexual weirdo, forest bog weirdo, and ice weirdo. Yes, that's the historical classification of Europeans. Now we have like coastal party trance music weirdo, inner city SM bondage weirdo, soccer hooligan weirdo, and I don't know, North African immigrant. I guess those are the different categories in Europe now. Thank God I'm not European. That sounds awful. What are your thoughts on Ukrainians? I have no thoughts on Ukrainians. Everybody who's pretending like they were like huge fans of Ukrainians before the Ukraine-Russia war started, especially Americans who have like no actual connection to Ukraine, are just full of shit. They're like, oh, I was always supportive of Ukrainians. Like, no, you weren't. Just fucking stop. How were you before the art fame, big dog? I was a translator. And I was drawing art while translating, which helped me with having a backup economic plan when I got fired. So I thought everything Eastern European was Russian. So did Putin, ironically. And he thought that Ukrainians would feel the same way. And when he invaded, it turned out they weren't okay with that. So, did you go to school in Japan? I went to high school in Japan, and I also went to college in Japan for 1 semester, and elementary school in Japan, which is how I can speak Japanese. But most of my life, it's been back and forth. Most of my life I've been in America. I'd say I'm like 70% functional in American society and like 30% functional in Japanese society. Not that it really matters, considering I'm not really functional at all from an Asperger type standpoint, so. Do you translate any manga? I'll give you a pro tip. Japan is still the world's 3rd largest economy, although they lost that because of the exchange rate. But in terms of like actual size, they're basically still the world's 3rd largest economy. And there's a shit ton of stuff that needs to be translated that isn't manga in the world. The biggest translation fields are medical, manufacturing, and legal. Think about it this way. If you're reading manga based on scantilations by some stupid fucking college student who does it for free, do you think there's a huge economy for legal translations? Obviously not, because people are willing to do that shit for free. If people are willing to do your job for free, it takes a lot of good luck and a particular level of skill to somehow make any kind of living off of it. Whereas if nobody would ever want to do your fucking job, no matter how much money you pay them, like, you know, mixing up raw sewage or some shit like that, then yeah, you can probably get a pretty high income because nobody wants to fucking do it. So yeah, I was translating manufacturing. You keep calling it scantillation. Isn't that what it's called? Scantillation, where you scan and translate it. I forgot what the word was. Not that I care, because I don't read that shit. You can't openly poison the well. Yes, everybody hates their job, so make sure that you don't exclaim loudly about how much you hate your job. On the other hand, you can openly poison the well as long as you're like aiming to become manager. Then the more toxic you are, that you can get promoted for being toxic. They're like, this person's a go-getter. Everybody, all of his coworkers hate him. When I was working part-time as a lifeguard, our female manager was just like a straight-up psychopath and a habitual liar, and literally every single person who worked in the office hated her. And eventually there became a time when she was looking for a promotion because the position above her became open, but everybody in the building knew that she was fucking toxic as hell and a horrible human being, so she didn't get that job. And what happened? She moved to a different location and got the job at a different pool. So she basically moved upward by being an asshole, as is often the case. I don't know if this is the case with Japan, though, but I do know it's the case in America oftenly. It's the people that openly desire and lust for more power that get it in many cases, like, you know, Trump, or actually any politician. Let's not just single out Trump. And they're also the people that you shouldn't give power under any circumstances. The biggest assholes are the ones that want it the most, and then everyone else is like, oh, I don't want to be in a leadership position because I don't want to fuck anybody over. It's so much responsibility. But the assholes don't care if they fuck people over, so they're like, oh yes, I'll be a manager, I'll take that job, because they're thinking on a different scale from you are. They don't actually care if the job is good or not. They just want the power. And then the person above him who's doing the hiring is also an asshole who got their job that way. So they're like, I like this guy. He has a firm handshake. He also seems like a sociopath just like me. Was she hot? No, she was morbidly obese. She was a literal land whale. This is part of the reason why I'm interested only in Japanese women. the myth that the hot girl, the hot, thin, attractive girl is the asshole, and the overweight, frumpy girl secretly has a heart of gold is bullshit. People who can't take care of their own body are much more likely to be narcissistic assholes as well. It just makes sense. It goes together. People who are overweight and don't care are probably going to be like, I deserve to have an easy lifestyle. I'm not going to work hard. I'm not going to maintain myself. And I'm going to put higher standards on other people. At least that's my experience. Ugly people are not nice people. They have no leeway in their life. They're constantly at war with something, including their own self-confidence. So they're going to be an asshole more likely. That's why Baal is a ripped god. I mean, I just work out to stay healthy, but yes. Also, being overweight, you probably feel like shit, so that alone will make you more of an asshole. Lizzo moment, yeah. I don't know if Lizzo is an asshole, but she definitely is morbidly obese. When I work out at Planet Fitness, there's a video that plays, or it hasn't been shown recently, but there was a video that played, a music video of Lizzo, where she portrays herself as like Superwoman or something, and then there's like some kid who's saved by her and learns to look up to her and stuff like that. I'm just like, damn. I know whoever made the video isn't exactly the one who's... It's not necessarily Lizzo who made the video, but self-insertion much? Like, what the fuck? Nobody is, wants to be your fat ass. Being overweight is pretty shitty. After I lost weight, I felt much better. Society really needs to stop telling people that they're curvy and totally fine at their current weight if their current weight is like 350 pounds or something. There are limits to healthy fat weight, and whatever Lizzo is not that. A lot of people on the western side of the pond seem to think chubby means 50 pounds overweight bare minimum. Yeah. You have no idea, if you're not living in America, how many women out there are like, I have curves, I'm just chubby. You just can't handle a full-bodied woman, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, bro, your fucking organs are shutting down. To be fair, these women have plenty of men who want to have sex with them, so there isn't much that's going to get in the way of their self-confidence if they're judging it by, like, being breedable. There's so many guys who just want to have sex with fat women, so it's extremely easy for them to feel accepted because they are. Which is why I'm done with Western and especially American society. A lot of fat women might actually have good bodies underneath all that blob, but you'll never know. I mean, your body is your body. It's not like there's something underneath that. You can't just, like, cut off the fat immediately. You are what you are. That's 90% of Tinder, yes. Androids can't come soon enough. These fat people are not like sumo wrestlers. They are still pretty strong though, not gonna lie. Like, if you get in a fight with a fat ass woman, unless you dance around her and avoid the hippo, you can lose by just her sitting on you. That's how powerful it is to have 400 pounds of fat on you. if you're not like fighting with weapons, just the weight difference alone can be a huge advantage. Sumo wrestlers are not fat. They have fat, and some of them are fat, but yes. This is if they can even catch up to you. Yes, if you want to fight a fat person, run away from them for like 30 seconds and then they'll just like fall over. And then you can beat them up once they can't move. I run away from all confrontations so it's not an issue. That's right, just keep on running away. Run away from everything in your life. And then one day you'll realize when you can't run anymore, that you've made a huge mistake, or at least that's what you would say if this was like a shonen manga. You can't stab a fat guy, though. It takes 60 plus stabs for them to die. Well, you don't want to stab where they have all the layers of fat, though. You have to go for like an artery or something. Even if they have lots of neck fat, they can probably you can probably hit an artery if you go for the right location. I see sumo wrestlers as strong fat. Yeah, of course. But they are fat, and they do die from the exact same health complications that normal fat people die from, so... it is a very unhealthy lifestyle. I guess every martial arts is unhealthy, to be honest. Getting your head smacked around is bad for you. Running away is the best thing to do in a fight, true. And then sending your lawyers after them. This is why you have to keep your cardio in good order, so you're always prepared to run away. Fat doesn't just weigh you down, it fucks with your cardiovascular system. I wouldn't understand because I'm not fat, and I've never been fat. So I don't know how it feels like to not be able to move around freely. "75% of health problems would disappear if people lost weight." Lose weight, stop smoking, stop drinking, eat less sugar. Basically, that solves like 90% of health problems that go through in Western countries or developed nations in general. You could just draw your 500... Is that a 50 cal? If you do .500, 50 cal revolver and turn the guy into red mist. I mean, that's assuming that he doesn't also draw his revolver. Is Aubrey looking at Will with amorous intent? She's a childhood friend. They're just friend guys. See, Koreans don't have as much fat as Americans have. You'll never understand the level of fat that we're talking about. It's really hard for a Asian person to truly understand how incredibly overweight Americans are, especially in like specific states in the Midwest and the South. And America isn't even top dog in the world anymore. It's like Mexico or something. South America has overtaken America in obesity rates. they are only fat if their family is rich enough to feed them enough to get fat. In America, the poor people are fat because cheap, shitty food is worse for you than the better stuff. So the poorer you are, the fatter you usually are as well. Like Coca-Cola is cheaper than water. So 60% of obesity is soda pop. Yes. I eat a shit ton of sugar, but I eat it in like food form. And I also exercise after I eat it. So it's not the same. Once you start swapping your water for Coca-Cola, that's when you truly get fucked. New Mushoku Tensei season already, let's go. I thought they just finished season 2. Or they're finishing in the process of finishing season 2. Sugary drinks will kill you. It's the idea that instead of drinking water, you're drinking a substitute for water that is full of sugar. Because you have to drink a shit ton of water during the day, man. Like, if you're like, I'm gonna eat this cookie, and it's like a special occasion, then you're like, oh, I feel bad for eating this cookie. I'm not gonna do that again. But if just like the standard act of drinking stuff is you drinking Coke, then yeah, you're gonna get diabetes. Can zero sugar drinks get fat people back to normal weight? There's a bunch of studies on this, and most of them say that zero sugar drinks theoretically should, but they often don't, because like it still fucking spikes your insulin apparently, and then people can't feel satisfied because their body expects them to be getting sugar, but they don't. So either it like fucks up your body directly, or then people just like eat more sugary stuff to compensate or something. But yeah, if you actually want to be healthy, I don't think sugar-free works. This is one of those health things where the jury is still kind of out on it. We're not really sure. But yeah, a lot of studies are just suggesting that sugar-free is not a viable alternative to just drinking water. Are you into green tea and stuff? All Japanese like? I stopped drinking caffeine, so I don't drink as much green tea anymore. I drink caffeine-free black tea, like English breakfast or Earl Grey and stuff. Just drink milk. I drink a shit ton of milk. Milk has a lot of sugar in it as well, but it also has protein and stuff. Why did you stop caffeine? I used to drink a lot of caffeine, and it didn't affect me at all. I could drink a cup of coffee and just go to sleep right after that. And then, like, one day, for some reason, I lost my equilibrium. Like, I had vertigo, and the world was, like, all spinning and shit. This was during the COVID pandemic when I started making my own coffee, so I was drinking more coffee than before when I used to be just drinking in the office. And I was like, what the fuck is causing this? And I was just like, my head was spinning and I was down on the floor for like 2 days. And it was awful. And I did a lot of testing in my diet to see what caused that. Because equilibrium is one of those weird things where a shit ton of stuff can fuck it up. So it's very hard to just like pinpoint what is causing it. But my guess was caffeine. So I cut caffeine from my diet to make sure that was what was causing it. And it hasn't come back since. And then I've had brief periods in which I drank some caffeine. I increased my caffeine intake, and I could feel like it was coming back. So I think that was the cause. So ever since then, I've only been drinking decaf. Doctors don't actually know what's wrong with your body 90% of the time. You kind of have to... In many ways, it's better to just like fuck around and try over-the-counter remedies and change your diet and stuff one at a time to see what affects you, and then you can kind of pinpoint what's wrong with your body. The truth is doctors really don't know what's going wrong most of the time, so... Also, if you're in America, going to the doctor costs like your life savings, so. Just place a dextrose IV directly in your vein and you're set. Just eat the bugs. That's what doctors call what they do at practice, LMAO. This is some real Hystrixia talk time, considering her father is a doctor and her entire job is cleaning up doctors' messes and stuff, so... Elon Musk is getting ready to cut her off Brazil's access to Twitter. Sure do hope no genocide takes place over the next week. Remember, it's not Twitter. We have to call it X, LMAO. Also, you'll still have access to, like, Facebook, right? I mean, Twitter is, what about Truth Social? Only grandparents use Facebook, but if genocide actually happens, your grandparents will be the first ones to get murdered because they'll be too slow to escape the upcoming death squads. So I think Facebook will be perfectly legitimate as a way to find out what's happening in the Brazilian genocide. Go back to 4chan. I do go on to 4chan poll when something seems to be happening. I go on poll and poll's like, it's happening guys, it's finally happening. And then there'll be like a big section of poll who is like, no, it's not happening, it's a false flag. They were doing this shit during like the initial stage of the Ukrainian invasion, and of course they were doing it for Hamas attacking Israel. They're like, it's a false flag guys, nobody's dead. There is a brief Turkish military coup, and when that happened, I was immediately like, oh, I'm going to go on poll to check it out. Everyone's like, it's happening! But it failed, so... This was back in like 2015 or something. Quite a while ago. Boring. I need Gauntlet reference images. I can't remember if I have them saved or not. Gauntlets, anyone? Gauntlets? My people is going to war with Ecuador? What is that shit? So what? Is this like some kind of corrupt politician in Ecuador who decided that he wanted to get the fuck out before he got murdered, and then was in a Mexican he was taking asylum in a Mexican what's the word, not assembly, you know what I'm talking about, I'm blanking. And then Ecuadorian military is like, nah, fuck this guy. Embassy, yes. Why couldn't I think of the word for embassy? Yeah. And then the Ecuadorians were like, nah, fuck you, Mexico. And Mexico's like, nah, you can't do that. You haven't made character sheets? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think like I want to really care about all the straps and stuff. I just sort of have a vague idea of what I want it to look like. I only care about like the characters' faces and just like a sort of vague idea of how they look. I don't really worry about all of the minuscule details and shit. That stuff can change from page to page. Like AI, who cares? I stopped frequenting 4chan besides 2 VG generals since late 2019, and now I have a very little desire to actually browse the site. It's entirely just trolling at this point. Nobody says anything honest on 4chan. It's people just trying to get reactions out of other people. Most of the creativity has left, especially on video game V. Consistency is good, man. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Children have never been more online than the past 4 years. I don't think it's children. I think it's man-children. Children are still... I don't believe that children are this cynical as the people on 4chan. I think most of 4chan is overage. In fact, relatively old. Old-ass motherfuckers who just have nothing better to do with their life because they're stay-at-home neats. What's the cool site now? That's the secret. There is no more cool sites. Tech bros have taken over everything. There's only the sites that are monetized by tech bros and the other site that's also monetized by tech bros. I mean, fucking Reddit is an IPO at this point. The old internet where you had cool sub-communities and nice shit online is gone. It's all just toys for Elon now. Tumblr is dead. No more porn. Twitter is fucking dead. It's called X. Facebook is dead. It's full of old people. The things that have young kids that on it, which supposedly should be cool because young stuff is always where the cool is, are being actively banned by the Biden administration. And besides, TikTok was always more of a platform for pedophiles to groom preteens instead of like actual young people. I don't know. It's looking fucking bleak. GameFAQs, it actually might be GameFAQs at this point. Join Discord, LMAO. Instagram, haven for thoughts. I mean, it was always a haven for thoughts. There was a brief period in which Instagram was like... I'm so old that I remember reading on New York Times about this new app called Instagram that gave you these cool filters. And I was like, okay, I have a phone now. I'll try installing this Instagram thing. And I uninstalled it when I realized that there was basically no way to use it besides posting your shit online as part of the whole social experience. This was before it was bought by Mr. Zuckerberg, the Zuck. I was like, why can't I use this without joining this social site? And then I didn't understand the concept. I just wanted the cool filters or whatever. So I uninstalled. The good old days, you know. Yeah, I can't draw when I'm on stream, let's be honest. I can draw a little bit. They're gonna stop with the big real-life Gundam and Nippon? You mean they're gonna take it apart and not display it anymore? or they're going to stop making new ones. Because they already have more than one. You're talking about like the massive one, right? The one that's like actual size of the real Gundam. Stop altogether. Pixiv used to be a safe place until PayPal and credit card companies don't want you profiting from hentai. Has anybody been following the DL site getting credit cards stopped? Shit. Do you know? I heard that PayPal is still usable for now. I haven't bought anything recently, so I haven't checked. But I guess I'll just have to get a JCB credit card. Because I sure as fuck aren't gonna, you know, let credit card companies have this win. I mean, it must be pretty expensive. I never got to visit the real life-size Gundam, so... Unfortunate. Although I assume it will probably just be put in storage and they'll probably bring it back out at some point. These things go in cycles, so... They are targeting Pixiv and DL site while OnlyFans and Pornhub are completely untouched. Typical Western imperialism, you know how that shit works. It's the same as the people complaining on Twitter and everything else. Western moral fuckers would rather complain online about cartoon, manga, anime girls being abused in a fictional setting than if, like, a literal child was literally being raped by a gang of, you know, Epstein cultists in front of them. They'd rather stop the anime fictional setting problems than make the world a better place. And then they'll be like, we did our job, guys. What the fuck has it been lately with card companies just shutting down not safe for work sites? They're trying to shut it down. They can't actually shut it down. But they want to make it so it doesn't exist. Luckily, Japan still exists in the medieval ages where you can buy points at convenience stores. So it's only the Western market that will get shut out of DL site. But I believe there's a Christian organization that openly is saying that they're trying to like enforce morality. And Japanese companies always have like weaker standing than whatever lawyer enforced, you know, OnlyFans shit is going on in the Western sphere. So they're going after the easy targets. People need to stand up and say, no, we're not going to take this bullshit. And by say no, I mean use PayPal to pay for hentai games while it's still usable and then get a JCB credit card. It looks like DL site is still one of the good guys, all in all. It has AI on its site, but it's segregated in like a separate section. And when the Western credit card companies were like, we won't take away access if you just remove everything that is... everything besides basic vanilla. Nothing non-consensual, no childs, no lolis, no rape, no tentacles, no anything. And DLC was like, haha, that's funny, fuck off. Actually, what they did first was we're going to change the the tags of what we use for the genres to silly things. They're basically like, instead of rape, it's going to be surprise sex. And that delayed the credit card cancellation for a very short period of time. As a European, I've never understood why weapons were glorified by the US while sexuality was diabolized. Because America is run by the crazy psycho-religious people that were so fucking psycho they couldn't survive in Europe. So they went to a different continent where they were free to oppress the natives and have their psycho-religious cults. That's why. America is founded on religious Puritans justifying their existence where they oppress others and slap their own moral standards on everything while they engage in heinous crimes against humanity. Protestant Christianity is quite close to Islam. The American version of Protestant Christianity is basically Islam. One of the worst sects of Islam. I mean, why do you... we have, like, literal versions of Christianity in America where you have, like, multiple wives and women are, you know, denied from owning property and all that stuff, so... it's not that hard to understand. Both Islam and Christianity is based on killing people. Also Judaism as well. All the monotheistic religions are based on there being one true God and not getting along with other people and killing them because it's justified. Which is why it's fucked up and why I'd rather live in Japan. Monotheistic religions, by definition, are going to be really nasty. Just the way they're set up. The entirety of the Old Testament, like 2/3 of it, is just talking about how great the Jews were when they invaded the new land and just like murdered everyone there. And what good guys they were by murdering everyone. It's pretty fucked up. Do you want the religion that's about a bunch of desert tribes that believe they're the chosen one and cut off their dick skin? Or do you want the religion about there being 800 gods on the island of Japan and billions of yokai females trying to have sex with you? I cannot comprehend mega churches. I see no Christian God there. Americans are generally brain dead, so they like being herded like cattle into a gigantic church organization where they lose all their money by donating it to the pastor so he can have a fucking private jet. I think, in general, if you're European and you don't understand what's going on in America, you can just explain it that Americans are fucking stupid. Americans are incredibly stupid. It might be hard to understand this if you're not living in America, but like, I'd say the standard IQ of America is like 70 degrees or something. So they get convinced to waste their money and life on a lot of stupid shit. There's Buddhist terrorist groups, the religion that promotes inner salvation through passive appreciation of the world as part of oneself. The guys that meditate and stuff, nothing surprises me anymore. There have always been a military wing of pretty much every religion. It's just that the monotheistic religions have that shit baked in. People just interpret stuff the way they want to do whatever the fuck they want. It's just that all the Abrahamic religions just kind of have it as part of it. It just comes standard, you know. So you don't need as much mental gymnastics to be like, yeah, we need to do jihad. Americans just listen. No, they don't. It's the opposite. Americans just talk. They have opinions on things they have zero knowledge about. Becomes extremely clear if you go between Japan and America. If you ask a Japanese person about something, they'll just be like, oh, I don't know. And they won't have any opinion. But Americans always have a fucking opinion because they think their opinion is important. If you ask an American about something that they literally have no knowledge about, like, I don't know, 17th century Burmese architecture, they're like, fucking Burma, man. That place fucking sucks. I hate their architecture. You should try and you should see, like, in a Japanese school what would happen if the professor was like, now I want you to have a discussion group and I want you guys to discuss how you feel and think about this thing. Literally nobody will say anything because nobody has any fucking idea because they're not trained to think about stuff and have their own opinions. In America, it's the opposite. USA is the most individualistic nation in the world. Yeah. And they don't even notice it. That's the funny part. USA is highly individualistic and highly militaristic. They think it's normal. Christianity wants to appear monotheistic, but it really is not when you have a saint you pray to. I mean, that's more Catholicism. American Protestants, it's they have the Holy Trinity, but they don't pray to saints as much. If you're in the South American Catholic scene, it's 100% like a multi-god religion with like the Hail Marys and stuff. Admitting lack of knowledge is a sign of weakness. It's better to be confidently wrong, Kekona. The true American way is if somebody doubts you and your ability to know things, you just shoot them. That will show them, right? They're like, hey, I bet you don't know this answer to your test. Just walk up and fucking shoot them. Problem solved, Kekona clap. They say the pen is mightier than the sword, but is the pen really mightier than my AR-15 rifle? How do they manage to prove that much military budget is just dumbfounding to me? Gotta be number one. Have to be prepared to fight a war with the entire rest of the world at all times. At the end of the day, America has a shit ton of money, actually. Still the world's number one economy. And America hasn't even tapped their full reserves in terms of like what they could do economy-wise. Because they don't tax their billionaires appropriately. So if America actually wanted to go full war machine mode, it still has a ton of reserves that they can tap into. It's pretty crazy, actually. Pen has no power when you don't have reading comprehension. That's right, illiterate Chads winning again. Get fucked, authors. I haven't read anything in years. I can't even watch TV shows with subtitles because I'm too fucking stupid. How mighty is the pen now? That's the American approach right there. Pen also loses to gun, checkmate. Knife versus gun. That's where the real fight is. Or sword versus gun. Now we're in anime. Actually, sword versus gun versus pen sounds like a fucking sweet anime if you think about it. You have your katana user, you have your gun user, and you have someone who has like a pen and they write shit on their death note and use magic and stuff. I'm gonna say the katana user is the cute girl. Gun user is MC1 and pen user is other girl who's like a mage. Big titty glasses archetype. Gundam with a gun versus Gundam with a katana. Pull out your beam sword. Should I get Taimanin Asaki or Taimanin Action? I mean, are you talking about the original Taimanin Asaki visual novel? I don't see why you would want to play a Taimanin game in which you don't get porn, but some people are like that. I, of course, am not. Well, isn't the Taimanin Action a gacha? I would stay away from all their gacha. Or maybe it's just the costumes that are the gacha. I don't remember. I know RPG X is the gacha as well, but it worked for Stay Night. Stay Night was more like it was always more of the sex was a distraction. Taimanin, the anti-demon ninjas losing to the orcs and then being turned into cum dumpsters is the main point. I just want more Ingrid getting fucked by orcs. I like when Ingrid just straight up marries orcs and stuff. I also like when Ingrid's like, don't worry, Black Sama. Even though I'm getting fucked by 20 orcs, in my heart, I'm still loyal to you. I still love you. And Black Sama, the vampire lord, is like, what? LMAO. LOL. I don't give a fuck about you, dude. You seen Pekora's mom? I know that she exists. I don't really care about VTubers, so. The first episode of Kuroinu with the orcs was epic. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't really coom to the Kuroinu art style for the CGs. The anime is fine, but the CGs, I kind of have a problem coming to that. I bought Kuroinu for like 3,000 yen because I was like, yay, rape content. And I never really jacked off to it because the art style didn't really sync with me. Something about it just feels wrong. I want to kill Edward Black so I can take Ingrid for myself. I think you could, he doesn't really care. You can just be like, Black Sama, can I use Ingrid for a while to do some covert operations? And he'll be like, sure, go ahead. It's like, I just have to tell you that beforehand that I'm gonna have to modify her body so she has gigantic oversized nipples, and Black Sama will be like, sure, that's fine. Who was the original artist? Kagami something? Kagami is the artist for Taimanin. For Kuroinu, I can't remember the artist. Kagami's art style has changed a ton. I wish there were more people who were trying to do Kagami in AI, making Kagami Lauras in AI, because most of the Lauras right now are a mix of Oranjimaru and cute sexy robots and thick with AQ, but they end up looking like Oranjimaru or thick with AQ. And there's very few other AI versions of it. So I wish there was more people trying to do Kagami stuff, but it's not really good right now. Also, I like evil women, but Ingrid isn't even an evil woman. That's part of the problem. We need more evil women in our time ending content. I know we have like about three or four, but they don't get as much screen time. That's also a problem. It's unfortunate that Anne Rose, the Time Running World spin-off, wasn't more popular because it had two evil women in it. And they haven't been getting any content. Oh, what's the time? It's time to go work out. Hentai must be weird when you understand what they are yelling. Half the time I watch it with the sound turned off because it can get annoying. I definitely watch most JAVs with the sound completely turned off because I don't want to hear their shitty acting. I don't like a lot of the Lilith, how wordy it can get, so a lot of times I just fucking skip it. I just like jacking off to the CGs in silent, usually. I think manga is still my favorite form of masturbation material. I don't need things to be animated. I think manga is just inherently superior because you can pause on the scene that you want without doing any extra operation. Another mute porn enthusiast. I mean, the acting is so bad. The suspension of disbelief is a very fragile thing that can be destroyed so quickly when you let porn actresses actually speak. I also watch Chikan content where it's just train molestation because they're supposed to be in a public space, so they just do heavy breathing. If I was a porn director, I'd just be like, don't say anything, just do heavy breathing the entire time. Erotic literature has been the only way for me for decades. Yeah, I also read a lot of erotic literature as well. The Japanese amateur novel website where all the isekai comes from has an 18 plus porn version of it, which also has a shit ton of erotic literature in it, and it's most of it is, well, not most of it, some percentage of it is well written, so that stuff is very enjoyable to me. Alright guys, I'm going to end the stream here. I made some progress, although not much. See you around guys. I'm going to keep on grinding. I'm not going to say I'm almost done, because I'm not almost done. What page is this? This is 19. And I have, not all the pages before this are completely finished either, but we're going to try our best. We're going to keep on grinding. We're going to be better. Good night.